evening, everybody. This is John Marola from Keeping It Real, Section 5 Football, and this is our Season 2, Episode number 8 already this season. So, as I've said before, we're just moving right along. First of all, I have to introduce my partner on my far right, Section 5 Hall of Fame coach, football and baseball from Fairport High School, Coach Dave Lanning. Coach.
John, good to see you.
Good seeing you. Thank you for being here. And our guest in the middle is the Class B?
C.
Section 5 champions for 2024, Coach Tim Rose. Coach, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Do you want to start? Or want me?
Sure, I'll start. Coach, we know you've had great success at the Gananda. Before we get into the current team and all you accomplished this year, let's talk a little bit about you and your background. Where'd you grow up?
Graduated from Victor 2005. Grew up there. My family's still out there. In college, graduated from Brockport. Out of there, jumped on board with Pittsford. Started coaching there. Actually coached football, basketball, and lacrosse there for a long time. And then, as a teacher at ER, came over and joined the football staff here at East Rochester under Brian Tarangio.
Sure.
And then, when he retired, I kind of stepped up and took over the program 3 years ago.
And at what point did you decide that coaching was the way you wanted to go?
I'd say probably early on. I was always involved with kids, always involved with sports. Being a phys ed teacher, sports are kind of my life. So, it was really easy transition for me to kind of stay involved and kind of give back to the kids and help them, have all those experiences that I did too.
Right. Did you play at Victor?
Yes. Yeah, that was football, basketball, lacrosse at Victor.
For Coach Mandel, who was there then?
Coach Mandel was there, but it was actually Coach Hall, who was my head football coach, and now he is actually the superintendent at East Rochester.
Right. I see him once in a while. So your first exposure to football, did you play youth ball?
No, not youth. Started out the modified level.
Okay.
And then kind of worked my way all the way up through. So, enjoyed it. Like I said, all sports, just kind of playing a little bit of everything.
Sure. That's old school.
Yeah.
How about some of your early mentors or role models?
Definitely Coach Hall was a big part of that. He's also somebody I still rely on now. One of the things that I did when I did get hired as the head football coach is I had a meeting with him and kind of sat down and talked with him. One of the best things advice he gave me was surround yourself with good people.
Right.
Your staff makes a huge difference, and I really believe the staff that we have at East Rochester, Gananda, they're amazing people. They're great. Not only helping the kids, but X's and O's and do everything they can to help these kids.
Okay. And if you were going to pass on some words of wisdom to young coaches today, would you use the same?
I would use the same thing, but for me, it's all about relationships with kids. Everything is relationships and really learning about the kids, learning about their family, learning who they are as people, and figuring out how to help them the best and how to connect with them the best and kind of push them and motivate them.
Okay. Now, you started when? Started coaching?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
At East Rochester.
Now, that's a relatively short time, but any changes that you've seen in the 3 years you've been involved as the head coach?
We did have some staff changes this past year. We brought in a new defensive coordinator, a couple new other staff members as well. But I think, being a teacher at the school, I knew a lot of the ER kids already. I taught them all. For me, it was making those connections with the Gananda kids as well. Not being a teacher in that building, kind of working with them and learning about them.
I always thought it was critical to be in the building.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the head coach. Your situation is a little different for a lot of people that may not be aware. ER Gananda is a combined program. You practice at East Rochester.
Most of the time it's at East Rochester, yes.
So you've got kids in transition daily. How's that worked out for you logistically?
Logistically, it's pretty good. We have a busing system that brings the kids from Gananda right to us. I also have a couple seniors that were able to drive themselves and drive some of the juniors with them to practice as well. We play games most of our games are at East Rochester. We do have a game at Gananda each year as well now. So those weeks, that week we play at Gananda, we bring all our stuff out to Gananda. We practice on their turf. Their turf's a little bit different. They have black football lines, so it takes us
Wow.
a little bit to get used to. Yeah,
Unique.
so that's definitely unique. The first time any team ever steps on there, or the officials when they come out, they say, "Hey, this is different. This is unique." So, but as far as the logistics between the two, it works out really well. They are combined at the youth level as well. Mm-hmm. So, coming up through the program, these kids know each other. They're used to playing at each other, with each other. They're used to playing at both East Rochester and Gananda all the way up through.
So the buy-in is fairly routine then for these
Yes,
kids.
yeah. Once they get to the high school level, like they've been doing it for years and years, all the way up through youth. So it makes my job a lot easier. These kids know each other. They're friends. They've grown up together. They've grown up playing football together.
Are you still the Bombers?
We are the Bombers, yes. So
Okay.
East Rochester Gananda Bombers.
All right.
We're talking about this because I'm trying to let people know that Coach Lanning did go to East Rochester for high school,
I
played
did.
for Coach Quinn.
Yeah. Played at Brockport too. So
So, I got a couple quick ones for you. You were talking about you went to Victor. What year did you graduate from Victor?
2005.
I was coaching at Aquinas. I'm trying to think. Did we ever cross paths?
We did a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
I'd say it had to be sectionals.
Yeah, in sectionals, yeah. You guys were pretty good.
Yeah. That's right in the middle. Well, towards a little bit of the beginning of the Chris Battaglia decade. So yeah, those were always great games. I mean, that's why we played football. That's what we got ready for. We knew when we were going to play Victor every year that it's going to be a football game.
Yeah, no, you love those close games and those battles. And even now, like on the coaching side of it, right? Like the close games back and forth, it's fun. It's fun to get excited for.
really, Coach, I always like to win like 50-0.
Doesn't everybody?
That was my preference.
What's more nerve-wracking for you, player or coach?
Probably coaching, I think. You put so much into it, and you work with these kids and you see them grow up. For me, being a middle school teacher, I've seen them when they're young, and you want the best for them, and you want them to succeed, and everything that they've put into it and all their hard work, you want to win for them and make it special for them.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Coach, you've had some sustained success at Gananda. What do you attribute that to?
Like I said, it all comes back down to the kids and the relationships with them. Like they work so hard, during the off season, during the season, they put in all the hours. I think that connection between the schools helps with that a little bit. During football, they're a family, and family's a big thing at Push. Hey, we're going to do this for each other. You're going to be here for your brother's back. And they really have bought into that and that mindset of, hey, like, we're going to work together for everything we can. And it shows on the field when they come out and they really do play for each other.
Before we talk about your past season, let's talk a little about your philosophy as a coach. You mentioned family. That's a big part of it, for sure. But let's go to the X's and O's. What do you like to do?
So, I have two phenomenal coordinators. Mike Bach on the offensive side and Nate Payne on the defensive side. They know their X's and O's, and they are great at what they do. Offensively, we want to be as balanced as we can be. We usually have some pretty solid team speed overall, so we like to get the ball out. Especially the last couple of years, we've been able to kind of throw the ball a lot, with having Ben. But we have different athletes all over the place. This past year, whether it was Ben throwing or Cadell running it, or Noah or Justice getting it on the outside, we want to be able to make the defense guard us in different ways.
But it seemed to be week to week we would follow you, and there were a number of names that would show up each week.
And it is, and we had a lot of weapons this year. So if a team wants to load the box, okay, that's fine. We'll throw it on you, and if they kind of back off and stop our weapons on the outside, well then let's go offensive line, and we're going to run it at you. And each week, kind of whatever they picked, we were able to counter and be successful with it.
What kind of numbers did you have this year?
As far as kids,
Yeah.
we were probably floating around 30 kids or so.
Okay.
Has that been typical?
Yeah, it's been typical. We have about 10 per graduating class. this year's current juniors are a little bit lower. So, and then it kind of picks back up a little bit. Like right now, our current freshman class has 20 kids in it. So for us, that's a pretty good number. And
nice.
if we can keep them all and get them engaged in the program and staying with it, like that allows us to be successful.
Do you feature a JV and modified team, or?
We did a modified A. So,
Modified A.
it is that 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. Although this year I had 3 freshmen pulled up with us this year.
Okay.
Now you did your was it your Pop Warner or your modified?
The youth, all the way up through youth.
Or combined.
And, even the flag team. My son was playing flag this past year, and they're already combined, East Rochester and Gananda, and that's a huge bonus.
Oh, it's gotta be. You really don't think about it when these teams start combining for varsity. A lot of the kids are meeting themselves for the first time. Where now they're coming up through a system.
Yes, it makes my job way easier.
Oh,
to
God,
be honest with you, they know each other, they've grown up with each other, and that makes a huge difference. Whether it's at the varsity level, the modified level, even the youth level, like they're used to being at both schools. They're used to playing games at both schools, practicing with people from Gananda, people from East Rochester. So it makes a huge difference.
Now, we were talking again, a little bit earlier, and I should have Googled this a long time ago, I said, but I didn't. ER and Gananda are the longest combined schools in Section 5.
I believe that we are, yes.
It's got to be.
We're the first ones to do it. And
2003.
And have had success with it all the way through,
So you're looking over 20 years of that, and that, just doing what you're doing, but doing it for that length of time, it's only positive.
Mm-hmm.
And the community gets used to it, the kids get used to it, coach, everything.
Yeah, they're all used to it, and they're all supportive of it. Whether it's like you kind of said with the community, both communities are used to it and supportive of it, which is great. Having going out on a Friday night and the whole town's out there behind you and everybody's supporting you. And even like the last 3 years, we've had a game at Gananda, which has been great for that community. And, so 3 years ago was the first ever home varsity football game at Gananda. And,
that's awesome.
And then the last 2 years, we've been part of their homecoming. So now it's going to be kind of a thing every year, which is great to see and great for that community.
And going back like I said earlier, my father coached for Coach Lanning and Coach Santini, who we will talk a little bit about towards the end. Would coach. I was a ball boy back in the 70s in the Fairport-ER rivalry.
And a darn good one, John.
Yep. I was a good ball boy?
Outstanding.
Well, geez, I was a ball boy, so you had to be in your late, middle 30s.
Well, you probably.
Well, you said you graduated in when?
Did I announce that?
Yes, you did.
85?
No. 85.
65.
Yep. I was 1 year old.
Great.
But no, those were some great, just great atmosphere, where the field. Actually, the 1 year I was coaching at Aquinas, 2003, we had a little bit of an accident out back. The Priest House burned down with the garages. So the Wegmans, they decided to build the field. So we had to go off-site. And we practiced at Carnegie for the whole program, and we played our home games at ER. Mm-hmm. And I didn't mind, like I said, ER, it's a nice atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? It's how high school football should be played.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Good concessions, too. Typically. Outstanding sausage. But that's another story. Coach, relatively small school. How about multi-sport kids for you?
So that's the thing at the Class C level is all these kids are playing multiple sports. I'm a believer in multiple sports. I believe that kids should play 2-3 sports all throughout high school and enjoy that opportunity. So like when our guys do other sports, like yeah, absolutely, let's go do it. Now saying that, they are always you got to find that balance of they're playing other sports. We start spring stuff coming up here soon, on top of weight room time and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a balance at a smaller school, because your athletes are all playing
Sure.
year round.
I think that's a great thing. Now, you've got multi-sport players. You're a multi-sport coach.
Yes.
How does that play into things?
It's very busy, you know. I'm very thankful, you know, that my wife lets me do that and my family is there to support me. You know, for me, I'm varsity football and that rolls right into varsity basketball. And a lot of the kids are the same kids, you know, so I'll be with them all spring, all summer, you know, all the way through, you know, the end of basketball. And I'm also going to be doing girls flag football this year too. So, you know, it's a lot, you know, but, you know, I think giving back to the kids and doing anything I can help is important. So
Bless you. That's great.
Yes, it is.
Again, that's old school. Multi-sport coaches.
Yes.
I did too, I know, and that was tough. Tough enough.
It's definitely a lot. You know, but like I come back to like those relationships with kids, you know, you know, I work with the same kids all year round, which is great. So you really, really get to know them, you know about their personalities, their lives, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
Let's talk a little bit about this past season. Going into the year, what were your expectations?
I knew we were returning a lot of pieces, and I knew that we had the chance to be very successful this year.
And then you dropped your opener.
And then we dropped our opener versus HFL, you know. But honestly, I was okay with it. Like, you know, you never want to lose,
right.
But you know, I think it also kind of set the tone a little bit for, hey, like, let's go, guys. You know,
Okay, wake up call.
let's wake up call. Right, we're got to go fight every week to go get this win, and from there we started improving every single week. You know, we had a lot of talented kids on the team that allowed us to be successful. You know, a lot of seniors that were heavily involved this year. So, you know, I had high expectations going into this season, and hoping that we could, you know, kind of put it all together. And, you know, staying healthy is always the big one. You know, can we stay healthy, especially, you know, small school.
Sure.
You know, I don't have a ton of kids that are out there. So,
You put a lot of points up.
yeah, our offense was tough to stop this year.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of your players.
Okay.
Outstanding players for you.
I mean, you know, you look at it all kind of starts with that quarterback position. You know, Ben Newman was, you know, very, very talented quarterback going to play at Wagner. You know, makes things a little bit easier when you have a quarterback who can make any throw on the field. But like I said, we had a lot of talented guys. You know, if you go from him throwing it, where you're going to stop him, where you're going to versus like Cadero running the ball. Cadero Sneed, great running back, played some slot receiver for us as well. You know, on the outside, we had Noah Mather, Justice Allen got into it, Ray Allen, Jordan Nunn. Like, there are a lot of pieces on the outside. Going into this year, though, and I told the team before the season, I said, for us, though, we have all these weapons and all these pieces, but it starts up front, you know. And the five guys up front, if they can excel and they can do very well, like, we have a shot here to be pretty successful. Right. And you know, so from the beginning it was, hey, we got all these pieces, but it starts with those five guys up front, and they had a great year up front for us. It was really exciting to watch.
So you get to sectional play. And who'd you draw there?
Well, we had the bye for the first round, actually. So our first game was against the Hornell. We hosted Hornell, and then you know, we took care of business there, and a hard-fought game. And then from there, we moved to Leroy in the finals, who actually knocked us out the year before in the semifinals. You know, and they're always a tough program. So.
And another combined scoop.
And they combined this year, right? Them and Calmon, which was, you know, crazy to think about, but you know, they made it work. You know, Coach Humphreys over there did a great job with them.
So you took care of business there, and went into state play.
Yep. So we drew Salamanca out of Buffalo in state play, and they came up. We actually played at Sutherland, which was very close for us. They had a long drive, and they were tough. They were big. They were physical. So we lost that one, and then they ended up going on to lose in the state finals game, actually.
Now, how about your seniors going on to play? Do you have many?
We do, and that's one of the things, like, I want to keep pushing with the kids, and one of my goals was to get kids to experience the next level, play college football, because in both East Rochester and Gananda, there are kids that can play at the next level. So, you know, the whole recruiting part of bringing, you know, college coaches in, you know, I try to bring in as many as we can and introduce them to the guys and give these guys that opportunity. So, right now we have 3 already committed to play. So Ben Newman's going to play at Wagner, Jordan Nunn's going to play at Alfred State, and Cadero Sneed's going to play at Alfred University, actually.
Nice.
And then we got a couple other guys that are looking at. Nate Tandle was our starting center. He's kind of he's looking at a couple schools. I could see him actually kind of playing at the next level. And then Noah Mathers, our other one that is going to find a home here, hopefully pretty soon to play at the next level.
Tando's an old time ER name. They've been Tandos for a while.
He's actually a Gananda kid.
Oh, really?
He is, yeah. Mm-hmm. He was starting center for us, senior captain, great leader for us. Kind of led those guys up front. So he's got a younger brother that's coming up soon too.
Nice,
so
nice. What do you now? Your season now is over.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys, kids are lifted and all that. What do you see for this year? What do you see? I mean, replace the way football is these days. Like we said, you look at quarterback first.
Mm-hmm.
So, who are you looking at quarterback?
So right now, losing your starting quarterback, now we got to replace that, and that's kind of where it all kind of starts a little bit. So, we have a younger kid who'll be a junior next year. That's probably the first one we're going to look at. His name is Robbie Detman.
Okay.
Tough kid, physical kid. Played a ton of linebacker for us.
Nice.
Just a football kid, hard-nosed kid. Ran the ball for us a lot this year, actually. So, this spring we'll get going here pretty soon, and we'll kind of figure out some of those pieces, because not only do we have that spot, we had I think 4 of our linemen up front graduate.
Yeah.
So we got one of them got hurt mid-season, so we got right now 2 returners up front. So. 2 or 3 returners up front. So
one thing is, I'm giving my advice to a young coach is, and I've said this before on our show, is and you found it out this year. You have 2 types of kids every year. You got football players, then you have kids that play football.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen it last year. You had a lot of football players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had some tough
yes.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the start of having a good team, having a good program, or getting those football players. Every team's going to get their share of kids that just want to be a part of something, which is fine. It's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as finding kids that are football players, those are hard and hard to come by.
Yeah, they are, and being a smaller school, class C, right? The pool of kids that are going to come out and play is definitely smaller than some of the bigger schools, kind of thing. So, but that's one of the goals that I have is to get more kids playing football.
Yeah.
Whether it is finding those hard-nosed football kids or finding the kid that, I'm going to just come out and be a part of this.
That's fine.
And that is fine, and absolutely come and join us. And
the more the merrier.
Right, and that's being an ER teacher. That's definitely something that I can walk in the hallways. ER is a K-12 building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can see my own kids in elementary. I can see my middle school kids,
nice.
But then I can also walk down the hall and check on my juniors and seniors. And hey, who's this kid? Let's recruit this kid. Come play.
Okay.
And we're gonna have a Gananda staff member join us this upcoming year, and hopefully do the same thing. Get more kids playing football.
Nice, very nice. What have you, when growing up, you said you went to Victor and all that, and then now you're going to go over to ER, hearing about, let's talk about, ER is one of the premier football teams in Section 5, through the Don Quinn years and all that. Did you feel like you had added pressure?
I mean, you always want to, represent well, and I live in East Rochester too. So, you want to be successful to represent your town, and represent your school. I don't know if it's necessarily added pressure for me because of the history. I knew we have kids that can play, and we just had to put them all in the right pieces and move them around to be successful. And and ultimately that falls on us as coaches to do, make sure that happens. But also I think coming in under like Brian Triangio for a year was great to kind of see the history of it, see how they've done it for a long time, kind of thing. And I have guys on my staff like Mike Bach's been around for 15 years. He's a graduate. He cares about the program, kind of thing. And I have a couple of those staff members too that are able to honor that history and make sure we do honor. We call it the home of champions. So.
Nice, that's great.
All right, Coach, here's a tough one for you now. You're the mythical commissioner of Section 5 football. Any changes you'd make?
I mean, I know the big thing we're going through right now is the scheduling stuff. You know, the federation versus league kind of stuff that we're going through, and we have the federation scheduling for next year. I think that's the big one that we got to figure out. You know, for us in Class C, we don't have a ton of teams right now. You know, I think we're down. I think we got seven teams, and we got some teams that are independent. So, kind of working through that, I think, will be the big one because, you know, I don't want to short kids' games. You know, I think I'm a believer of like, I always want to play that week 0 and make sure we have an opponent. You know, in football, you don't play 20 games a year. You know, and we do all this work and everything in this off season to get up and to play those games. So I want to make sure the way we've got a game every single one of those weeks.
All right.
We talked about that a couple episodes ago, and going back to that, my thinking is, and you know, we've all said it throughout the years, is you know, up north we don't play enough games.
Yes.
And my thinking was, everything's got pluses and minuses. We did have Scott Barker on about a month ago, and that went real well. I was really pleased how that all went and everything. I'm still a firm believer of starting the season earlier, because you can't play later.
No, right? Let's take advantage of August and the weather.
Yes. So, but then also letting teams be like, listen, I'm Section 5 now. I'm going to give you a game, or if you want, you can go out and find a game. Week 0, week 1, whatever you want to call it. But just adding more games. We need to play more games. They count.
Yes.
Not just playing a game to game. You know, it's I really wasn't a big fan of the Connor and Ferris, those games. I mean, at the end of the season, I mean, the kids are working their butts off, and now you're out of sectionals. Now you're going to play a game that doesn't count. You know, football means too much to me, and to, I think a lot of the kids is, you know, you're going to work your butt off all that week and then go play a game that doesn't count. Or people can say, well, you know, colleges can get a look at you. It's not the same.
No, you want it to mean something, and even if we do like start the season earlier, right? We can bump it back into August a little bit and get more games in that way. You know, you do look at like the colleges stuff, and teams down south play a lot more than we do just based on weather. You know, we're kind of limited a little bit, and you know, that definitely has an effect on recruiting and things. So
and more publicity, more you know, your kids get recognized more because they are playing games that count.
Yes, and that's something, you know, I think I try to, you know, promote my kids as much as I can. You know, if that means we put it out on you know, X or on the news or whatever, you know. Try to promote the kids, and if they have that opportunity through more games, you know, before the school year starts, I think that's a good idea.
Way back when, we played 13 games 2 seasons in a row. And that was 26 games, and there were other teams that played 8 games each of those 2 years. So we played a whole extra season, basically, which obviously is to our benefit. So, yeah, go out and play.
Games that count, though. I mean, those Connor and Ferris games, we got involved in a little bit.
I think, you know, for me, you know, looking back and, like, you know, that kind of like the federation scheduling stuff, like for me, if I want my kids to be able to go for that sectional block and be involved in the playoffs, and I think that's important for them, right? That's a goal of theirs, that they want to hold up the sectional block and say, hey, look at what we did, and you know. And
another thing too, I'm talking on the other side, because when I was coaching at Aquinas, the only Section 5 team we played was McQuaid until we got into sectionals, and then we would play the Buffalo Catholics, and that was awesome. I mean, that made it. And I've said this before, it didn't make it better, it just made it more special. Friday after school, the kids get on a bus, a Trailways bus, and then you go out to Buffalo and you go play football games, and then you come back. You know, it just means, it means more to me, I guess. You know what I mean? And I've talked to a couple people, George Giordano being one of them, and he was totally, what do you want to go out there for? Honestly, our parents really, you know, they went out, they had dinner before the game in Buffalo, and then they watched their kids play and get in the car and come home.
Yeah, it's a whole experience.
Yeah, you know, and I think football needs to be more like that, and I'm saying that because we're combining more and more teams. That means we have less and less kids participating. We got to get these kids out and make it special for them. I want to be a part of that. That's got to be in the kids' mind. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of East Rochester football or football in general. You know what I'm saying? So the more that we could do for the kids, hopefully the better off we'll be. And when we started this all a little over a year ago, I've said that, we were driving down to Ohio watching a football game in August.
Yeah.
And, and Paul Brigandy and I looked at each other and we were like, we should do something. Let's do a podcast. So that's kind of how this all
started, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And we're retired. I did 37. Are you done coaching or?
I'm currently done, but who knows?
How many years? 40?
Coach, 50.
50?
Yeah.
Just put it right on the button,
Yeah.
50.
Playing and coaching was 62 years. So I played for 12 and
Yeah,
coached for 50.
I can do that too.
So I'm a free agent right now. I'm in the
No,
portal.
you're not. You're working for me.
I'm a media guy now.
We're the press.
What a treat.
We're the press.
Coach, let me ask you this one. Now, you're a young coach, vibrant, in the prime right now. Coaching can age you quickly. Not that you are, but would you do it all over again?
The whole coaching?
Starting out, you're
Absolutely.
coming right out of
Yep.
school, would you do it?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Yeah, no, I love what I do. I love my job. I love coaching. I love working with kids, connecting with the kids, and just being on that field for those couple hours is a special time. It's a special place to be. I love it. So absolutely.
And you mentioned you're a teacher, and I always thought the key to coaching was it's teaching.
Yes.
So it's a carryover. Great.
All right, before we get out of here, there's something that's when I got to put my glasses on.
It's hard to be old.
Oh my God, is it? First things first. Let's talk about is we have to talk about Coach Santini, and this is coming out Thursday at 5 p.m. So the funeral I know is set for next Sunday, and I just like to give off a little bit. Like I said, I was a ball boy for Fairport back in the 70s, and that man meant a lot to me and my family. Don is one of a kind, and very, very, very special man, and a great coach, but just a special, special person, and he's definitely going to be missed. The one thing I got to say is, everybody's got their little stories, and Coach Laney's heard this one a couple times, I'm sure. 1977, Fairport and the are playing at Fairport. We come out of the locker room. I'm in like 7th grade. I'm a little. The hill on the side.
Yep, yeah, on the field.
Totally packed. All the way down to the road, A-Rot Road. And I come out, and my dad is the DC with Don and Coach, and my dad are, and I look up, I'm like, these people can't see they can't even hear the game. They can't work. And my dad looked at me, he goes, they just want to be here. So that was the one thing with my father. The other thing with Santini, I'm telling you, I was in the locker rooms for his pre-games are just epic. They're just one of a kind. His pre-game speeches, I was 13, 14, I wanted to run through the wall. You know what I'm saying? It just, he motivated. He was just a constant motivator. And for the longest time, I always thought that whoever the players were on the other team, their first names were Sucker. Because he called we got to get these suckers. We got to get these suckers. And I tell you, I loved being around that. And it just, great memories of Coach Santini and everything. And like I said before, he'll be very, 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 very sorely missed. Coach?
There's no question about that. He was a great motivator. And I think another important trait that Don had, besides the football part of it, was he made everybody feel like they were important and part of it. And, beyond the football field, touched a lot of people as an administrator, a teacher. And, replace a guy like that. I know that when he retired and I took over the football position, it was a seamless transition in the sense that he let me run with it. Was supportive, obviously, and was thankful for that. It's just going to be great memories.
Yes, everything about him and thinking his memory are just awesome, just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think it talks to kind of how special a person he was. And I'm sure there are many people who have stories like that about him, and it shows how he was able to connect with people.
Yep.
Like you said, whether that's motivating, but those kind of people are special, and like you said, he would be sorely missed.
Sorely missed, and my thoughts and prayers are out for the whole Santinis and all those. They're just great people.
So again, services or calling hours are Sunday next week at Keenan's Egypt location, and then a funeral mass will be Monday morning at Assumption Church in Fairport.
I think the Sunday thing goes from 1 to
6, scheduled 1 to 6.
So, and people are advised to park at Fairport High School, and they'll have buses transport you back and forth. So, we will definitely be there for that. Okay, a couple things, and then we're all set. I just want to say thank you again.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Coach.
fun.
Thank you.
Let's just go through some of our sponsors real quick. First one we got to talk about is G Athletics. That's George Giordano. He runs camps throughout the year. I just got done doing a camp with him. We were doing girls flag football camp up at Boulder camps right now. So that's G Athletics. The other one is, actually I was just out there yesterday, is Joe Muno at Premier Sports in Grease Ridge Mall. People have been hearing the stories, and I just got yesterday. They are shutting down some of the mall. Actually, where his store is right now, from his store walking to your right, all that is going to be all shut down. They're going to put a wall up or something. He's going to move down about 5 or 6 stores on the other side. So this coming Sunday, they have to move out everything. So. But just going up and talking to Joe Muno up at Premier and just getting ready for this year's. Because during the season, when we do our stuff during the season, we're up at Premier Broadcasting.
I do remember that, actually, because when Ben came up to you. Yep.
We did it with Ben. And again, with Ben, I mean, just a great young man, just being a part of, he was 2-time Player of the Week for us. He was our class, our small school class. MVP. He's just a classy kid. Texted me a couple weeks after that and just said, thank you for everything. And talks a lot about him, his family, the school, his coach. Everything around him is, it's all first class. And just wish him the best. After that is Keeping a Splash. That's my brother, Dan Rolla. He puts in pool liners in the summertime. They're not doing that now, but they are taking orders because he is going to be starting that up in about a month or so. And anybody interested in pool liners, all the names and everything are on the beginning and ending credits. The other one after that is Under the Radar. That's Ronnie Crawford. Ronnie and I used to work together in the city. We worked over at Douglas, which used to be Leadership, which used to be Charlotte High School, which everybody knows. So if anybody's looking for personal or business-related security, Ronnie Crawford's the man to call. And again, all the numbers and names are on the ending credits and the beginning. The last one after that is Custo Print, and that is Kendall Miller, and he does all our embroidering, and he's just a great guy. Met him about a year ago now, and I do all my embroidering, everything goes through him and his people. Actually, the one girl,
Tiffany Brooks,
is an old student of Coach Lane.
Oh, really?
Don't say old.
Well, you're not young.
Yeah, but it makes her look elderly.
No, she's
Okay,
she's
she's right on top of things.
yes,
She's a good
she
person.
Yes, she is great person, and she walks up there, and I enjoy going in there and talking about old Fairport things with them. So that's about all I have. You good?
Oh, I have one question. Are the checks in yet?
You know, like we're not on the the Kelseys.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting like 50 million each.
Right. Yeah.
We're not getting that.
Not yet.
No, actually, we are, and I'll tell you afterwards. We are getting a little bit of some money from YouTube.
Oh,
Which
good.
is nice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it makes it feel like it's a little bit reward. But I'll tell you how much it is when we get done, and we'll definitely have a laugh or two. At the end now, when we're done, what we'll do is I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and we're all going to look and point and say, keeping it real, Section 5 football.
Okay.
You ready? Ready, Coach?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Keeping it real, Section 5 football. Good night, everybody. Have a great night.
Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the morning comes and we see what we've become, in the cold light of day, we're a flame in the wind, not the fire that we begun. Every argument, every word we can't take back, 'cause with all that has happened, I think that we both know the way that the story ends. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile, but no, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. When the evening falls and I'm left there with my thoughts, and the image of you being with someone else, well, it's eating me up inside. But we ran our course, we pretended we're okay. Now if we jump together, at least we can swim far away from the wreck we made. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile, but no, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. So I'll go, I will go. So I'll go, I will go. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier. I want you to be happier. Even though I might not like this, I think that you'll be happier. I want you to be happier. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise